Jacob Thorn was not an ordinary man. Every night, as the world surrendered to slumber, he would drift into a realm where the future unfolded before his eyes. It wasn't just his future but the futures of those he had crossed paths with. These dreams were vivid, visceral, and unrelenting. Each morning, he woke with the weight of knowledge that could alter lives forever. It started innocuously. A year ago, Jacob dreamed of his neighbor, Mrs. Albright, a kind old woman who baked cookies for the entire street. In his dream, she left her stove on and fell asleep in her rocking chair. Flames engulfed her quaint home. The next day, Jacob hesitated but decided to warn her. She thanked him kindly, though her smile suggested she thought him eccentric. That night, Mrs. Albright turned off her stove before bed for the first time in years. When the wiring in her kitchen sparked a fire hours later, she escaped unharmed. Jacob realized then that his dreams were not mere figments but glimpses of what could be. Word spread, and soon strangers sought him out, desperate for answers to their uncertainties. But Jacob was no savior. The dreams came unbidden, showing him futures he had no control over. The burden of deciding when to intervene and when to stay silent gnawed at him. One fateful night, Jacob's dream turned darker than ever before. He found himself in a dimly lit alley. A man he didn't recognize was struggling against two masked figures. The blade of a knife glinted in the moonlight before plunging into the man's chest. Blood pooled on the pavement as the attackers fled, leaving their victim to die alone. Jacob jolted awake, heart pounding. The man's face was etched in his mind. Jacob was certain he'd seen him before, on a missing person poster stapled to a lamppost downtown. His name was Liam Garrison, a journalist known for exposing corruption. Determined to prevent the grisly fate he'd witnessed, Jacob resolved to find Liam and warn him. Jacob scoured the city, visiting Liam's usual haunts, asking questions that earned him wary glances. Finally, he located Liam in a dingy diner. The journalist was gaunt, his eyes darting nervously as though he sensed danger lurking around every corner. Jacob approached cautiously. "Liam Garrison." Liam's head snapped up. "Who wants to know?" "My name is Jacob. I need to talk to you. It's about your safety." Suspicion clouded Liam's face, but Jacob's earnest tone made him pause. "Make it quick," Liam said, gesturing to the seat across from him. Jacob explained his ability, sharing just enough to convince Liam he wasn't a crackpot. Then he described the dream in harrowing detail, the alley, the attackers, the knife. Liam's face paled. "I've been digging into a case involving some dangerous people. They've been trying to scare me off, but this," he trailed off, his hands trembling. "We can stop it," Jacob said. "You don't have to face this alone." That night, they devised a plan. Liam would lure his attackers to the alley, but this time, Jacob would be waiting with the police. It was risky, but Jacob's dream had provided enough details to give them an edge. When the night came, the alley was eerily quiet. Jacob crouched in the shadows, his heart racing. Liam stood in the middle of the alley, pretending to make a phone call. Minutes felt like hours before two masked figures emerged from the darkness. "You should have stayed quiet," one of them growled, drawing a knife. Jacob signaled the police, but before they could act, one of the attackers lunged at Liam. Time slowed as Jacob ran toward them, tackling the assailant. The knife clattered to the ground as chaos erupted. The police swarmed in, subduing the attackers and pulling Jacob and Liam to safety. As the assailants were hauled away, Liam turned to Jacob. "You saved my life. I don't know how to thank you." Jacob smiled faintly. "Just keep doing what you're doing. The world needs people like you." That night, Jacob slept peacefully for the first time in months. But his reprieve was short-lived. His next dream began with the sound of shattering glass and a woman's scream. Another life dangled on the precipice of disaster, and Jacob knew his work was far from over. If you like this story, like and share this video. If you like to watch these types of videos, subscribe to our Thrilling Shots channel and stay updated with our newest releases. Till the next story is revealed, stay tuned to Thrilling Shots, thanking you and signing off.